For 2 decades, Nepal has been a nation in recovery. Citizens have cleared the massive brick rubble left by the 2015 earthquakes and navigated the long aftermath of a 10-year civil conflict. On the surface, the physical infrastructure has steadily rebuilt, but behind the newly restored facades, a different kind of collapse is occurring. A severe epidemic of mental health disorders is accelerating, and it is concentrated within the nation's classrooms. Data from the 2024 Nepal Multiple Indicator Cluster Survey provides a baseline for this crisis. Currently, 9.3% of all Nepali adolescents suffer from clinical anxiety and depression. When the data is viewed by gender, the burden shifts significantly. 12% of adolescent girls are affected, compared to 6.1% of boys. These national averages actually mask the intensity found in the country's urban centers. As the chart scales out to include localized city studies, the reported rate of depressive symptoms among high schoolers rises to 73. The sheer volume of this distress suggests that we are seeing the results of specific, heavy pressures placed on these students. To find the source of that weight, we have to look at the concentric circles of the systems built around them, starting inside the classroom. The pressure cooker activates in Class 9. Students begin an unrelenting preparation for the secondary education examination, a test culturally branded as the Iron Gate. The tension is visible on the faces of students crowding around these posted schedules, knowing these marks will dictate their social standing and future economic viability. Inside the classroom, teachers are tasked with completing massive syllabi within highly limited timeframes. This forces a reliance on rote memorization, creating an environment of intellectual suffocation where students have little room to express doubt or ask questions. This schedule has a direct biological consequence. When humans exercise, contracting muscles release chemical messengers called myokines, sometimes called hope molecules. These particles travel through the bloodstream, cross the blood-brain barrier, and function as natural antidepressants. In Nepal, a student's day is often monopolized by early morning tuitions and late-night study, leaving no time for physical movement. As the flow of myokines stops, chronic academic stress floods the brain with a dense layer of cortisol, which disrupts the biological clock and leads to severe insomnia. By combining a high-stakes exam culture with the biological deprivation of these hope molecules, the school system is effectively engineering the very anxiety it struggles to manage. Outside the classroom, academic achievement has been commodified into a certificate of prestige for the family. Parents often project their own unfulfilled ambitions onto their children, viewing a child's mark sheet as a metric of the household's social status. When this environment leads to a psychological breakdown, the legal system creates a hurdle to care. The Nepal Medical Council's Code of Ethics requires written informed consent from a parent or guardian for any minor under 16 to receive psychiatric treatment. This framework creates a paradox. Because the family dynamic is often the primary source of a student's stress, requiring written parental consent means a depressed teenager must seek permission for care from the very people who may be contributing to their trauma. The family unit, which traditionally acted as a buffer against external stress, can transform into a legal trap that forces the adolescent to suffer in silence. This pressure is fueled by a difficult macroeconomic reality. Nepal's domestic labor market is highly constrained, leading to a pervasive narrative among youth that success is only possible outside the country. Consequently, high marks are no longer just educational goals. They are the essential transcripts needed to secure foreign student visas and escape the country. This creates a burden known as financial guilt. Because parents often invest a disproportionate amount of their income into private school fees, teenagers internalize that sacrifice. They feel that if they fail an exam, their parents' investment is wasted. For these students, an exam paper is not just a test of knowledge, it is the perceived weight of their family's economic survival. The results of these compounding pressures are visible in clinical data. Counselors report that 70% of the teenagers who arrive at clinics for mental health support only do so after they have already attempted suicide. The trauma of the high school years often follows students into adulthood. Research on undergraduates in Kathmandu shows that depression affects nearly 58% of university students, while 61% report clinical levels of anxiety. Healthcare infrastructure is evolving to meet this demand. The government recently established a dedicated 16-bed psychiatric inpatient facility specifically for children and adolescents at Kanti Children's Hospital in Kathmandu. But because specialists are concentrated in the capital, the nation is turning to digital tools. This includes telepsychiatry and anonymous services like the Machuni chatbot. As this digital thread weaves through the maze, it bypasses the physical and social barriers of the clinic. The chatbot offers anonymity, allowing teenagers to seek information on depression and talk to experts without facing social stigma or triggering the parental consent requirement. These digital tools and hospital expansions are life-saving interventions, but they are reactive. They function as a safety net for students who have already reached a breaking point. Ultimately, the medical system cannot resolve a crisis rooted in the way a society treats its children. Until Nepal de-escalates the terror of high-stakes testing and reevaluates how it measures a student's worth, the healthcare system will be fighting an unwinnable war of triage.